Okay. All right. I can't see you though. Oh, I see you now. Slow. All right. Right. Oh, wait. I can't hear you except for on my phone. I can't hear you.
That's because I was on mute. That was
Okay.
on mute.
All right. All right.
Okay, so we are finna get ready and
Okay.
try to bring these cats in. Yo, three
Okay.
people up in here. Kalaya's coming in, and
Okay.
we got Iran.
Okay.
So once we get everybody up in here, we're gonna let you start speaking. And like you
Okay.
said, you can cut people out with you know what I'm saying, with the questions, let them ask questions. We do a 1 or 2 minute question, you know what I'm saying, as far
Okay.
as a dissertation, let them speak,
Uh
and
huh.
then we just go from there. So I'm finna get
Can
ready.
I say this? I can't see those buttons anymore, like the mute button.
Click on the screen and then see if it'll pop up.
Okay, now I did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, okay, but I can't. Okay, and then I touch it again and see myself.
Right.
Okay, so how do I know that the avatar is on?
When you click on the camera,
Okay, the picture,
yeah, when click no no, click on the camera
the camera
and
ain't showing.
no, check this out. You got your mouse,
Yeah,
use
I
your
got
mouse
mine.
to click.
Oh, I don't have a mouse for my tablet.
You know.
Uh-uh.
So is it a touch screen?
Yes.
Okay, touch the screen and see if it gonna pop up.
Only thing pop up. Oh, right there. Did
Right.
that do it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right.
So and then check your microphone. Go through that.
My microphone.
Yeah,
Hold on.
click on that.
Hold on.
Then mute.
It didn't come up. Okay, there it go.
Okay. Okay, you see it? I can hear you on the phone, but I can't hear you on there. Okay, now click on the microphone again. So you touch your screen, and then when you touch your screen, you click on the microphone, and then all of a sudden you're gonna be unmuted. You muted right now. Click on the screen and then click on the mic. Nope. You got a difficult tablet.
There it is. What about now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. All
Okay.
right.
So
Okay.
you know how to work the camera, you know how to
Right.
work the mic. So when you got to do stuff in the
Uh-huh.
background, you can mute people out, touch the screen.
Okay.
When you touch the screen, you got to click on the microphone in order for it to mute and unmute. And you touch the
Uh-huh.
camera when you uh, do the avatar and you on avatar, as far as they know.
Okay. Okay.
Just don't mess with the microphone because you mess with the microphone, you're gonna be out of it.
Okay. I
Okay,
got
we gonna rock like this, right? I'm finna get ready and bring the people in and see if they gonna show up. And then basically we gonna have people come in where you be able to let them question you. And once you get your dissertation about
Uh-huh.
what we doing, if you want to tell them you want to stop and want them to ask questions for you can go ahead and do that.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, I'm finna get ready. and try to bring some people in to see if they're gonna show up. If
Okay.
not, we'll just go ahead and let you do your dissertation.
All right.
Now I'm finna mute, and I
Okay.
be don't go nowhere.
But I would need to hear you sometime. Because I was going to ask you to read.
Okay, okay.
Okay, okay.
GAHMAHL. GAHMAHL is at Yahoo. I sent one out already. I'm finna send out the other one. Okay. And RAMYA.
Okay.
Okay. Just a few more to your people, right? I already got them.
Uh-huh.
So I'm finna bring Kalaya in
Okay.
and loading. Okay, that one sent. Let me see your Rob, see if he gonna come on.
I can't believe there's nobody respond.
What's up?
There's nobody respond.
There go Kalaya right there.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, sister. How are you? What's up, bro?
All right. Did you get that
Good.
information I sent you?
No. Let me check my email. I just got a chance to walk in and get a chance to slow down here, so
Okay.
I ain't even had a chance to check my email yet.
Okay. Well, let me know if you got it or didn't get it.
Okay, I'll do.
Okay.
I'll do that. Give me a second here. I'm gonna put you on a brief mute right quick. Let me mute out for a second.
What's all that background noise you got going on there?
Uh, let's see what's up. I'm just sending emails out, seeing if people gonna join in. So the ones that I
Okay.
do have information, and
sister. I ain't heard from her. So,
Okay, what I done did, I done sent a couple of links to the people that I do know on there, and then I sent them to your people and
hmm
see if they gonna come on. Okay, I got another. Some of them didn't even go through Gmail, didn't even go through. So I might have to try it again. But
okay,
what giving your dissertation. Oh, first, let's just put it like this. We're gonna
okay,
just put everything on the platform. So the point is, when we come up on this platform, we don't do no swearing. Uh, it's not the most high, so we
right,
carry ourselves productive. We ain't dealing with vulgar language.
right,
Uh, we goes according to the laws and testimonies. Y'all try to abide into the word to apply the laws to our everyday life. Coming on
yeah,
this platform, we ask people that respect one another. Uh, let's not get out of control. So people coming on the platform, please be informed that we are trying to be respectful toward each other and be mindful of the laws of Yah and try to obey His commandments. So we don't come up on here. Whoever come up on this platform, we don't deal with curse words. So I'm gonna go ahead and let the sister citation. I'm gonna try to see if I can uh, call some people and get it started if that's all right.
okay,
You cool
okay.
with that, Elam?
So I want to say greetings to everybody with Shalom,
It's going in.
and
Say that again.
I said I want to give everybody my greetings of Shalom, Shalom, and
You
Baraka.
good?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Whenever you ready, it's
I'm
on
ready.
you. It's on
Okay, I'm
you.
ready. Okay.
You can begin.
Okay. So as I was saying, I wanted to give everybody a greetings of Shalom and Baraka, meaning peace and blessings. So I was asked to make a part two to the first video because there were some questions that were asked that I didn't cover on the original. So here are the questions that I was asked. I was asked, who is the remnant? What is happened? And do we wait on the Most High or do we escape and bring ourselves out of Babylon? How will we know when it's time to leave? When do we leave? How do or do we wait for a certain time? And how will the Most High gather us? So, on this video, I will be addressing all of those questions with the scriptures, of course. And so we can begin in the book of Isaiah, and I will start with who is the remnant. And Isaiah 11:11 is going to show us who this remnant is being talked about that is going to be fleeing. So my brother, if he wants to read that for me, my brother Wida, I don't know if he, I think
Oh,
he said he was
okay.
making some calls.
Here
Are
I
you
go.
there?
I go. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
here.
Okay.
So
Isaiah 11:11 is going to be the first scripture.
let me know when you're ready for me to read.
I'm I'm ready right now.
Okay, it says,
Okay.
and it shall come to pass in that day that the
Mhm.
Lord shall set his the second time to recover the remnant of his people which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea.
Right.
You want me to read verse 12?
Yes, go ahead.
It said, and he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah on the four corners of the earth.
Now, thank you. So, two things we are going to make a note of on these two verses. And the first thing that we're going to make a note of is where the Most High tells us that he's going to set his hand a second time to recover the remnant of his people. Now, we know that the first time he recovered a remnant, that was in the Babylonian captivity of 70 years. So this time, as you can see, we are scattered all throughout, and he named all these places. So he did not do that the first time, because the 70-year captivity that he recovered us from, we were just in Babylon alone. That was the sentence. So one thing I want you to draw your attention to is where he said from Cush and from Egypt. So we may not know where these other places are, like Pathros, Elam, Shinar, Hamath, and the Isles of the Sea. But we do know where Egypt is. And Cush is also known for being another name for the Hamites, and we know that they are in what is known today as Africa. So that is one thing I want to draw attention to. And then the second thing is in verse 12. And that's where he says that he would set up an ensign for the nations. So, what is an ensign? Well, an ensign is what you would call a signal, or something that alerts you that this is something important. You could say that an ensign would be like a banner or a decree or something to that nature that marks a specific event. It's like a marker. So the ensign that was set up on our captivity is when the president announced that he was going to sign a bill called HR 1242. And you can research that and find out it's pertaining to our 400 years. It marks our 400 years being here in captivity in uh, Babylon, or America, North America, since that's who he is the president of. So um, this is the place that the ensign was raised. And also, he reached out to another president in Ghana, and he raised the ensign as well. And he labeled his ensign 2019 Year of Return. I posted a video on that. You can find that um, here also on the platform Resurrection the Remnant. And it's very detailed as far as the Ghanaians have extended um, the olive branch to us to for us to come and return there. They would very much like to have us. But I'm not going to spend too much time on that because I want to answer these questions. So the next scripture, who's going to identify the remnant is in Jeremiah the 16th chapter. So if you want to go there and read that, I want you to read verse 13.
Okay.
16 and 13.
Okay. Jeremiah 16.
16 and
And
13.
you just want me to read verse 13?
Yes, please.
It says, therefore will I cast you out of this land into a land that ye know not, neither ye nor your fathers, and there shall ye serve other gods day and night, when I will not show you favor.
Right. And I'm sorry. Read 14 too.
Okay.
Okay.
Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them, and I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers.
Right. Right. So you can see from this verse that the Most High is saying that He's going to gather us from the north, um, and into all from all the lands that He's driven us, and He listed those lands back when we read Isaiah 11:11, because those lands are bordering our land, and that's where He's going to recover us from, the borders of our land. So we'll get into that more, but I want to show you um, how we get to this next question. And the next question is, what has happened? And what do we do? Do we wait for the Most High to pick us up, or do we escape and bring our own self out of Babylon? So, what you might want to, a question is to consider is, how do we know that when it's time for us to bring ourselves out of Babylon? What is the ensign, so to speak, that we should look for, or how do we know when the way that the Most High does this? Does He send like a Messiah, or does He um, rapture us, or what is it that He does that lets us know what He does when He says that He will bring us out and we will escape? Go to the book of Nahum. If you're not familiar with that book, it's right behind Micah. And when you get to Nahum, I want to just draw your attention to the first chapter, verse 14. Now,
Uh,
this scripture is um, talking to ancient Nineveh, and we know that he sent the prophet there, Jonah, and they repented, and the Most High didn't destroy them, but then they went back to their ways, and He did destroy them. So, but what I want to show you is just the way that the Most High does things. We're going to start a precept on this verse. So when you get to verse 14, go ahead and read that.
what chapter are we reading?
Nahum 1.
Okay. Verse 14 says, and the Lord hath given a commandment concerning thee, that no more of thy name be sown out of the house of thy gods, will I cut off the graven image and the molten image. I will make thy grave, for thou art vile.
Right. Now, did you notice what he said? The Most High have issued a command concerning you. That's what He does when something is about to happen. He issues a command. So once He issues a command, something will happen. So how do we know that a command has been issued. We'll continue to answer that question in Isaiah, the 14th chapter, and verse 22.
Isaiah 14 and 22.
Right,
Okay. Okay. Isaiah 14:22.
right,
For I will rise up against them, saith the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith the Lord.
right. Now, do you see how what this says? The Most High says that He's going to rise up against them, talking about Babylon, and He's going to cut them off. So, if we are here waiting for the Most High, this does not tell us that in their cutting off, we're not going to feel it. So, let's go on to chapter 21 and you'll see more of this unfold. When you get to chapter 21, read verse 9.
Verse 9.
Right,
And behold, here cometh a chariot of men with a couple of horsemen, and he answered and said, Babylon is fallen, and all the graven images of her gods he hath broken unto the ground.
right. So, Babylon has fallen, but we don't see everything, all of the effects at this time. We see some things and we know that something has happened, but we haven't seen it happen and come in completely because there's more that is to happen. And the next verse is going to show us what that is. That's in Jeremiah 50 and verse 3. And
Okay.
here's what's going to happen while we are waiting for the Most High or whether we are escaping. It's still going through.
Okay.
Jeremiah 50 and 3.
For out of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall remove, they shall depart both man and beast.
See that? So this is letting us to know that once all of this comes in, this land, Babylon, that we're in, is going to be desolate. So if we're here waiting for the Most High, then whatever happens, the Most High said it's going to be an object of horror, and nobody's going to be living in it. We are here dependent on these people for all of our cares, for our food, for everything, our shelter. We don't have no houses that we've built. This is not like the captivity in Babylon, ancient Babylon, where the Most High told us that we would have all this to survive on until our time was up. This is a different captivity. So just to show you that, let's go and look at chapter 29. Stay in Jeremiah and look at chapter 29. And when you get there, I want you to read um, verse 4. Start in verse 4. I didn't have this one planned to read, but I'm going to read it anyway just to show you how this is a different captivity. Jeremiah 29 and
You
4.
breaking
Go
up.
ahead.
You breaking up.
Jeremiah 29 and 4. Can you hear me? Hello?
We can hear you, sister. You loud and clear on my side.
Okay.
Is she clear?
Yes, she loud and clear.
Okay.
I was going to say maybe I need to plug my tablet in. I don't know.
No, no, you're doing excellent. No, you good to go.
Okay.
It may be on Weeders and him uploading the
Okay.
video.
Okay. I'll go ahead
Say
and
that
read it.
again, bro.
Can you hear?
I can hear
I
you
was,
now.
I was saying, what you running the video, you might have some lag in between because you send a lot of information down the stream, brother.
Okay.
Let me know when you're ready, Weeda. You want me to read it?
I can read it for you.
Okay.
I can
Jeremiah
hear you
20.
now. That'll be
You got it with?
no. You could go and do it.
Okay, I got you. All right, where we starting at, sister? 29:4.
29 and 4.
All right, you ready?
What, Jeremiah?
Yes, Jeremiah 29 and 4.
Thus saith Yah of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, unto all that are carried away captives, whom I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem unto Babylon. Build ye houses, dwell in them, plant gardens and eat the fruit of them. Take ye wives and beget sons and daughters, and take wives for your sons, and give your daughters to husbands, that they may bear sons and daughters, that ye may be increased there and not diminished. And seek the
Right. Go
stop
ahead.
there.
Go ahead.
Really?
Go ahead. Keep going.
Somebody's
Just
reading it now.
stop at 7.
And seek the peace of the city, whither I have caused you to be carried away captives, and pray
Right.
unto Yah for it, for in the place thereof shall ye have peace.
See, now this captivity is unlike the captivity that we are in right now, because the Most High told us here to build houses and plant gardens, and that's what we did. We weren't totally dependent on this man for everything. Our captivity on this time, it's not like that. The Most High said that if we pray for the city to have peace, we would have peace from the city having peace. Total different captivity. So right now we are dependent on this man for everything. We don't have gardens. We didn't build houses. And we don't have peace. So imagine um, what they call SHF situation where, we no longer have him piping water through our houses, and we can't go to his stores and buy food. Because if you look in Deuteronomy 28, go there real quick, and I'm going to get right back to my original scriptures because I didn't plan this, but I want to just deviate just for a second to prove a point.
Deuteronomy 28.
Deuteronomy 28, and if you look at verse, start reading, we're going to bounce around because I don't want you to read all of these.
Okay.
But I just want you to read the emphasis to show you that start in verse 16, read 16 and 17, and
Okay.
then read 20.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. Excuse me. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. Verse 20.
Yes.
And Yah shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke, in all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do. until thou be destroyed, and until thy house perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me.
You see that? There's your difference. Our baskets are cursed. We don't have the blessing that we had in the captivity of Babylon. Look at, and we don't have the peace that he told us if we pray for the city, we're not having peace here. And so, what I wanted to highlight is where he said, until you be destroyed, not delivered. Read verse 28 and 29, and then we're going to go back to my original. But I just wanted to touch this to let everybody know we are not here being shown any favor. Go ahead, Brother Keliah.
And Yah shall smite thee with madness, and blindness, and astonishment of heart. And thou shalt grope at noonday, as the blind gropeth in darkness. And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou
See?
shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee.
No man. Nobody's coming to save us, Yasharal. And we have to accept the words of the Most High. I know that, it's a shock and it's a blunt, but the Most High told us to save ourselves, and we're going to see that. So, back to where we had picked off, where we left off at, I'm going to move right along to show you just what it means when he said in that verse, he will not show us any favor. What you can do is go and Google the word favor and get a definition. Favor means to show approval or a preference for, to feel or show approval or preference for. He lets us die just like anybody else. He doesn't give us any special favor. If somebody was to walk in here and just start shooting off a gun, and it was 50 people in here and I happened to be one of them, then I happen to get shot, because he's not showing us that type of favor right now. So we're going to go ahead and move on, because those were his words, that he wasn't going to show us favor. And we need to think about that. Any random event that happens during the course of our staying here, because that's the choice we made, then that's what's going to happen. And just know, once you choose to stay, you will have to remain in your righteousness, come what may, because you're going to have to die in your righteousness. So if you get to eat everything in your house and everything's gone, and you're hungry, and you look outside and you see a big cat, you cannot eat it, because now you just broke the law. And once you break the law, now you're no longer in your righteousness. Now you can be punished, and you might even die in your wickedness. So that's something to think about for us, Yasharal. So we're going to move on to the next scripture, and that is in the question that's asked, when will we know when it's time to leave? When do we leave? Do we wait for a certain time before we know it's time to leave? Well, let's look at Isaiah chapter 10. And when you get to chapter 10, it's going to give us some information about us leaving in verse 20 through 22.
Isaiah chapter 10, verse 20 through
Yes.
22. And it shall come to
Yes.
pass in that day that the remnant of Yashar, and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob, shall no more again stay upon him that smote him, but shall stay upon Yah, the Holy
Right.
One of Israel in truth. The remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty Elohim, or the Most High. For though thy people, Israel, or Yasharal shall be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return. The consumption decreed shall overflow with righteousness.
Right. You see that? So the decree has gone out, and the Most High said it's the remnant that's going to return. Well, what is a remnant? Well, if you've ever had to buy carpet and they what all they don't sell off of what they cut off, they might call that leftover small piece a remnant. And that's what we are. We are that small piece of people that the Most High said would escape in that day. Because there is a day, and that day is on us right now. Now is the time while we have a chance. Because the Most High has already set up the ensign, letting us know that the 400 years is up. That was the ensign. When he had President Donald J. Trump draft the bill in January of 18, but he did not release it. He didn't publish it. When he published it, he waited until April in the new year and published it. Now, why did he do that? Well, you know, nothing happens for no reason. If it happens, there's always a reason. But the Most High said that we would escape. You see that? The remnant are going to escape and return. They're going to return to him. Our people, right now, we are in the millions here in North America. But it's going to be such a small number of us that actually pick up and return to the Most High, that the Most High said, even though we could be as the sands of the sea, yet only a remnant is going to return. Because only a remnant is going to do what it says in verse 20. When he said, we ain't going to want to stay with those that smote us. We've been being smote here forever. Since we've been here, they've been smiting us. And we have stayed upon them. But the remnant is not going to be comfortable with that anymore. You see, we're going to want to stay upon the Most High. That's who's drawing us to him with his loving kindness. So that day is now. We've been smitten by rogue cops and legislature that keeps us on the bottom. And we can no longer prefer the comforts of captivity. We don't prefer that. We prefer the ancient paths, even if that means that we'll have to get used to the ideal of no longer depending on a system of entitlements, such as SSI, food stamps, welfare, unemployment, disability, pensions, retirement, all of those things, Social Security, you know, we will be willing to choose the Most High, because really that's why a lot of people want to come here, and that's why a lot of people prefer to stay here. But once that we can no longer rely on those things, this place will not be as appealing. And right now, as you can see with the government shutdown, Yasharal is very uncomfortable now because we're worried. We are not dependent on the Most High. We're not used to that. We are used to depending on the system of North America, the ones that have smote us. So that's something to think about. And we'll move right along to where. Where will the Most High have us to go? Because if we leave out of here, then the next question is, where are we going to go? Because we need, you know, we just can't go back up into the land. Obviously not, because the Most High has not cleaned that land of all those people that are there. So we have to go where he tells us to go. So we've already read Isaiah 11, where he said he was going to gather us from Assyria and Egypt and Pathros and Cush and Elam and Shinar and Hamath and the Isles of the Sea. Because guess what? No matter where we are, Yasharal, we don't have to be here in North America. Wherever we are, we're serving our enemies. Do you get that? Because we're not in our own land, contained for our own selves, as our own entity. So we are serving our enemies. So let's look at Isaiah 65 and we'll read verse 8.
Isaiah 65 and 8.
Yes.
Okay.
And we'll read 8, 9, and 10.
Okay.
Okay.
Thus saith Yah, as the new wine is found in the cluster, and one saith, destroy it not, for a blessing is in it. So
Yes.
will I do for my servants' sakes, that I may not destroy them all. And I will bring forth a seed out of Yaakov, and out of Yahudah, an inheritance of my mountains. And mine elect shall inherit it, and my servants shall dwell there. And Sharon shall be a fold of flocks, and the valley of Achor for the herds to lie down in, for my people that have sought me.
Right. You see that? The elect will begin to dwell with the elect. That's something we've never done, Yasharal, because we don't know what it means to dwell with each other. We are scattered out to the four winds. But at this point, once we have picked somewhere to go, we can take a pick from any of these places that's listed, or we can go to where the Most High advised us to go, but he didn't put a name on it. So let me go ahead and refresh everyone's memory just in case anyone forgot. We'll look and find that in Jeremiah, the 49th chapter. Go there, and the Most High gave us direction. He never leaves us on alert as to what his will is for us. Praise the Almighty for that. But what he does do is names change. We no longer call Cush Cush. It's been changed from Cush to Kemet to Africa, and now there's 54 different nations there. So if you look at Jeremiah 49, and it says, look at verse 30. We're going to read verse 30 and verse 31.
All right.
Okay.
Flee, get you far off, dwell deep, O ye inhabitants of Hazah, saith Yah. For Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, hath taken counsel against you, and hath conceived a purpose against you. Arise, get you up into the wealthy nation that dwelleth without care, saith Yah, which have neither gates nor bars, which dwell alone.
Right. See that? He told us to flee and get far off, dwell deep into the wealthy nation. And the only nation that can fit this description that's near to where Zion is what we call today Africa. Because it is a nation that dwells without care. You don't hear of the things happening there that you hear here. You don't hear the gun violence. It just doesn't happen unless they have a civil unrest. You don't hear about tsunamis and earthquakes and things of that nature. They basically dwell without care. They have all of the resources, the gold, the rubies, the the um, the what they put in the cell phones. That what do you call that element? I think it's I can't remember the name of it, but they have all of the natural resources, the diamonds. They are a wealthy place. So the Most High has told us where to flee to. He told us to flee, and He told us where to flee to. So just to refresh everybody, um, now we're going to figure out, we're going to answer the question why. Go to Isaiah, the 48th chapter, and we're going to look at verse 20.
Isaiah 48 and 20.
Yes.
And it reads, Go ye forth of Babylon, flee ye from the Chaldeans. With a voice of singing declare ye, tell this, utter it even to the end of the earth. Say ye, Yah hath redeemed his servant Yaakov.
Right. So the Most High has told us to get out from under these Chaldeans, to flee out of Babylon, come out from Nebuchadnezzar, because that last verse we read, it said his name is Nebuchadnezzar. Not Nebuchadnezzar, but Nebuchadnezzar in that Isaiah 65. Um, I'm sorry, not Isaiah 65. It was in the other
Jeremiah 49.
Jeremiah. Yeah, yeah. That was where it said Nebuchadnezzar, showing that it changed from Nebuchadnezzar to Nebuchadnezzar. To let you know, it's the same MO, same pedigree, but it's a different person. So, um, here he's telling us to get out of Babylon because he have redeemed us. So, what does redeem mean? If you Google the word redeem, it means to regain possession of something. Something that you had at one time and you no longer have, but now you are going to regain that as a possession in exchange for something else. So we'll see what that is, what that exchange is. So moving right along, we're going to ask or answer the question, how will the Most High gather us? How is he going to do it? Go to Malachi, the 3rd chapter, and read verse 6.
Okay.
And we're
One
going to
second.
pick up a point there that we have got to highlight. We've
Okay.
got to highlight this point, brothers and sisters. Pay very close attention to this verse,
Malachi, what now, ma'am?
3 and 6.
All right. And it reads, For I am Yah, I change not, therefore ye sons of Yaakov are not consumed. Keep
Right.
going.
Even from the days of your father, you are gone away from my ordinance and have not kept them. Return unto me, and I will return unto you, saith the Most High. But ye said, wherein shall we return? So evidently, we don't know how to return to the Most High because he didn't put that here for no reason. When he said that we don't know how to return to him, he recorded that as because he knew we would be so far removed from him that we would no longer know when or how to return to him. And it's true to this very day. So we ask, how can we return to the Most High? What must we do to turn back to the Most High? Or in what way shall we return to Him? Go to Isaiah, the 27th chapter, and we're going to read verse 12.
Isaiah 27 and 12.
Yes, please.
And it shall come to pass in that day that Yah shall beat off from the channel of the river unto the stream of Egypt. And ye shall be gathered one by one, O ye children of Yasharal.
Did you see that? The Most High is going to gather us one by one. Not a big rapture. One by one. You can't argue scripture. You can argue me and you can disagree, but what we cannot ever do is disagree with the Most High, because one is one all around the world. And if we can't count to one, we have a serious problem, Yasharal. Once he said that in that day, he's going to beat off from the channel of the river of unto the stream of Egypt. Where is Egypt at? It's sure it's not here in North America. Egypt is not in North America, Yasharal. So we know where Egypt is. And from there, somewhere in the borders of those lands that he named for us, he's going to gather us one by one, because we will still be scattered. We will dwell together, but we cannot go into our land until he brings us into our land. Now, how do I know that? We'll look at another scripture. I'm going to give another scripture to show how do we know, but you got to bear with me, because my I don't know verses the way other people know them. Like my brother Weta, oh my goodness. If I could remember verses like him, I tell you, you couldn't tell me nothing. But it's the verse that tells us that he's going to bring us into the bond of the covenant. I know it's in Ezekiel. Um, Let me get my technology out here real quick, and I'll try to locate that scripture. And if anybody knows it, they can just jump right in and help me out. I really appreciate that. Um, if anybody knows it right off the top of their head. I don't think my brother Weta is on here, um, so he can't help me out. Let's see. But this is how we know.
Ezekiel 20 and 37.
Is that where it is? Okay, let's go there. Thank you. Yes, that's it.
Are you ready for
We're
it?
gonna look at yes, we're gonna start at we are going to start at verse 33.
Okay.
Yes.
As I live, saith Yah, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out will I rule over you. And I will bring you out from the people, and will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered, with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out. And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face, like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness in the land of Mitzrayim, so will I plead with you, saith Yah. And I will
Right.
cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant.
Keep going, brother. You're doing it.
And I will purge out from among you the rebels, and them that transgress against me, and I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Yasharal, and ye shall know that I am Yah. As for
All right.
you, Keep going or something.
Hallelujah. You find right
Okay.
there. Because before we go too far, it's a couple of points I want us to highlight. One of them is where the Most High said, and he swore. He swore. And you know, when the Most High swear, he's serious. And you better watch out. When he said right here, he said, as I live, that's his swear. He says, I'm going to rule over y'all, Yasharal, and I'm going to bring you out from the people. Are we dwelling among a people right now, Yasharal? Did the Most High ever call the people that we're living and dependent on a people? He told us they are not a people. They are not a people. So we know we're not living under peoples. So he's going to gather us out of the countries. You see that S? And then he says here in the last verse that he read, he says, verse 38, I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn. Are we sojourning here in the land of North America? No, we are not sojourning. You Google the word sojourn. It is a voluntary residence that you walked yourself into. We will be sojourning once we leave here. We will sojourn once we leave North America and travel back to the continent that we are going to. Then we will sojourn. From there's where the Most High said he's going to gather us out of these countries. The whole continent of Africa, I said it before, it has 54 different countries inside of it. 54 nations. Can you imagine that? All of the nations can fit inside of the continent of Africa. That's how large it is. So the Most High is going to gather us from there, and there he will plead with us. He said, what? Face to face. See that? One by one. Just like he said. And this is a very exciting thing. We don't want to miss this, Yasharal. Because like I said, if we choose to stay, and it is our choice, because the Most High has never forced us to do anything. He always tells us that only a remnant will return to him. Just a remnant. And those will be the ones that while we are there resting in the land, because that's what he said we will have. We will have rest, not Jacob's trouble. Everyone who stays, they will have Jacob's trouble to deal with. And that's your choice. You can stay. But just know, once you choose, and that door is shut, because there is a cutoff. And that cutoff, I'll give that date again, although it's on the information that I sent to you in email. The cutoff is July the 1st, 2020. Okay? So what happens beyond that, I don't know, and I don't want to know, because I'm hoping to have already have exited with my beloved brothers and family, and we are planning on being one group where the elect is dwelling with the elect, just like the Most High said. So he's already made arrangements for us to return to him. He's made an appeal to us to return to him. He wants us back, and we have to return to him, because he's told us, precept upon precept, no one will save us, and he will gather us one by one. And it does not get any clearer than that. We just have to accept it. I know that we've been told, all these different conclusions, but those are not scriptural, Yasharal. And So I'm going to conclude this video by thanking everyone for their time and for having me to come back and try to get questions answered. And I would love to come back again if my brother Weeda have me. Um, if there's any more questions or if there's questions now, we can go to the other format and do those. So again, I want to thank everybody. I want to thank the Most High most of all for giving this understanding and for sharing it with me and for allowing me to share it with you because the Most High, He is my everything. And I don't make a move without His word going before me. He says that He will bring us out by a command. That command has been issued, and we have to follow it. So I want to thank everybody. Thank you, Brother Weeda, and everybody that's listening for your time. If there's any questions, maybe we can do another roundtable. So let me say good night to everyone, and thank you.
Okay. Um, that was our sister Elam who was bringing out information. If any brothers or sisters have any questions, they may want to ask her, or we can get she could let you know that we're planning on having a group meeting or roundtable ongoingly and trying to get brothers and sisters together on trying to get them passports and helping them get visas to return to Ghana. So if anybody out there is interested, um, you can call me. How are we gonna do it? Whether we gonna go up on have a platform or my sister Elam, she has a conference number. Well, you could go and get more information. But we're trying to work together and trying to be there for our people, like what Yah says, gather yourself, O nation, not desire. So, due to the fact is that we now are aware who we are and know what it is that Yah tells us to do that we must do. We're trying to be obedient to the word. So we gotta come together. We gotta stop all the bickering, the arguing, and the gossiping and carrying on and do what it is that what Yah tells us to do. So I mean, this is just a reach out to the brothers and sisters and a truth that truly and seriously are trying to abide into the word and keep the laws of Yah. That we are to reach for our people and helping them return to the land that Yah gave us. So this is an invitation to all brothers and sisters Israel on coming together and doing what it is what Yah expects for us to do. So if anybody want to add anything to it,
I,
feel free. You know what I'm saying? And remember, we don't not gonna be vulgar with the language. So I appreciate people respecting the platform. Thank you.
shalom, shalom, everyone. Praises be to the mighty Yah.
Shalom.
Shalom,
I
King.
missed I missed the presentation, but I got to hear a little bit some of your last presentation, and I let we to know that and again I'm sorry. My name is Kwame, and
I'm
I
Sister Elam.
peace says the shalom, and I came from the house of Israel and Cincinnati up under the
Okay.
elder Elisha.
Yes, I
Um,
was there when he was alive.
say that again.
I was there when he was alive too. Moray
Oh,
Alicia. Mm-hmm.
what's your name?
Elam.
Elam.
Mm-hmm.
You went to class?
Yeah, I went to class.
You got family that went to class? I, I'm
Just
because we
just me and my husband went to class there at the time.
what's your husband's name?
Shem.
Shem. Okay,
Yeah.
not the rapper Shem, was it?
No, he don't rap.
Sure. You all have kids?
Nope.
Oh, okay. I'm only asking because I was actually trying to put a face
Okay.
to it,
Okay.
but I don't recognize you. But we've been around forever.
Okay.
And yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And I just like to make sure I make some connections because there are a lot of families that were there, of course, when Alicia was alive. And
Right.
I could even if I don't know you personally, I can always connect you with a family. You know,
Right.
you from Cincinnati?
Yes.
It's kind of like the Lincoln Heights thing. You know a last name, and everybody say,
Uh-huh.
"Oh, you related to so and so." You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. What neighborhood did you grow up in?
Well, I don't want to give my whole life story, because I don't think you're gonna probably know me if you don't know my name, or you don't
No, no,
remember
not your
me.
whole life. So I'm saying, what neighborhood did you grow up in? Because
Well, I
we
grew.
around the same age.
I didn't grow up in Lincoln Heights. I just grew up, all over the city of Cincinnati, downtown, wherever.
Okay.
We
Okay.
moved. Yeah.
All right. All right. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know we had to be all secretive or something. I was just trying to.
I'm not being secretive. I'm just saying, I moved a lot, so
Yeah, we good people, and all the intentions is good. Like I
yeah,
said, I just want to put a name, a face, and the familiarity, so
yeah,
that, I can give you, of course, the hospitality that you deserve already.
yeah,
I'll give you that, but at the same time, if you family, you know what I mean. I want to know who you are, so I'm like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I know your folks. You know what I mean. I know you, whatever.
yeah. We didn't have no family there. It was just me and him that came. We wasn't related to nobody. We just heard Morel Alicia teaching, and we just wandered in the class, and that was the rest was history. It wasn't no family. It's like the Most High said, one from a family and two from a city.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt.
Yeah.
Well, I was watching your videos, and I'm gonna sit back and go through a couple other things, and I got to looking at that bill that you were talking about,
Uh-huh.
and I saw that of course there's some allocations towards nonprofits and organizations that are commemorating our being here 400 years. Uh,
Uh-huh.
so how my question is, um, because I was going to actually get a lawyer to look more into it, but you
Hmm.
sound like you already know a little bit about the legalities and the logistics behind it. Could you explain to me how you are using that to get you back to Ghana?
Well, I did not examine it as a lawyer does. I saw the information um, through just looking at the on the internet and through YouTube videos, and I saw that they had did a conference in Ghana, and I posted the video so that anybody who wasn't familiar with it could see how it was a collaboration between the United States and the president of Ghana, or the prime minister of Ghana. I'm not sure which title he goes by, prime minister or president.
He's about the
But
president.
it does he go by president? Okay. Um,
Yeah, Kuda
so
or Kufa.
I do a Kufu Adu or something like that. Well, he um he stated that he would make it easy for anybody who wanted to return in the year 2019. He calls it the year of return. He said he's familiar with the scriptures um, of what had happened to us, and he put all this in the video. And he said that he would like to extend a warm welcome to all of us that would like to come back there. He would give us easy visas so that we can return, and they would give us like land and loans and things like that so that we could have houses and, make us comfortable and settling down there. Are you here, brother?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Does that answer your question?
Okay. So when it comes to Ghana, they've actually had that. They've been talking about that for a while,
Right.
and I know a couple. I actually know a brother, a family who has a son who was there in Ghana for a while. And they have it. He was there even during the times when they had started extending it. But he still had a very hard time getting his citizenship there. And
Okay.
I just wanted to know if you had any information, if the process had been expedited, or, if you know of a certainty that this program is actually being offered at this time.
Well, they went on video and did this live conference. So they said on the video they would make it easy for us and would give us free visas. So, all I can do is take them at their word. I would advise you to contact the embassy of Ghana if you had, more in-depth questions on what the bureaucracy or red tape entitles. I know that someone had asked if they had a record, would that affect anything? And that question has been answered no. It's not going to affect anything. If you want to return and you have a record, that's not going to stop you.
Have
So,
you been in contact with the embassy at all?
no, I haven't been in contact with the embassy. I've been doing other things um, as far as, to work on the exit plan, but contacting the embassy, I haven't done. I've been working on, an exit plan, and yeah, that's as far as I've went because, I have certain things that I have to do in order to make so that, we can be on the plane to go. And those are the things that I've been working on. I had a conference line set up to talk about things that we, as a small group of remnant, can go over to make sure that we have our house in order. Um, like if we have any medical issues, how we can get in touch with the medical professionals there so that we can send over our files, you know, have medical release forms. They have a housing website set up for us to leaf through where we can buy a house or we can rent, you know, we can, the things that we'll need to make our transition. Those are the things that I've been working on.
Okay.
Are you still here, brother?
Yes, can yes, can you
Okay,
hear me?
I hear you.
Yes, I was just saying that you you have um information on how to lease and rent there.
Yes, I do know that when they have a rental, that you have to pay like for the first 6 months. You
Right.
pay the 6 months up front, and then they'll lease it to you. Um, and so, and that's good because you don't really want to just plop your money down because you might, find some area that you would rather be in. And then if you've already, plopped your money down on something long term or you went and bought it, now, you've already put your money there. So that's really not too bad of an ideal to rent for 6 months. that'll give you time to be looking for something else anyway, if that's what you want to do.
Right. Okay,
Yeah,
well,
but
I definitely, I'm going to do a little bit more research myself, and
uh-huh.
because like I said, I love the video. What I heard of it, I have
Uh-huh.
some great, some good scriptures. I like that. I think it was the Jeremiah 31
Uh-huh.
where we were talking about the highway and everything,
Right.
going back the way in which
Right.
we came. And when you look at Moses when he ran from Pharaoh, he
Uh-huh.
actually traveled back that way. When he
Right.
was bringing out the children of Israel.
Right. And that's
So
beautiful.
I can see some parallels with that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really curious and interested, and I just don't have me myself. I have a lack of knowledge on that, and that's why I'm asking the questions. And I'm
Right. Well, that's fine. Because they basically took us from Ghana. That's where that Sierra Leone is. You know, when we were scattered, we went deep down into what is called Africa today. That's how they got us. That's where they got us from. So, the Most High told us to return to the cities that we once had, and it all folds together so beautifully. We just have to um, listen to the appeal, pray to the Most High, ask Him for understanding, because, everybody's not going to return. He's already told us that. But, those people, will meet an unfortunate end in Jacob's trouble, because he said, those to the sword, those to the pestilence, to the pestilence, and those to famine. So one of those is going to get you, one way or the other. But you
Mhm,
just have to die in your righteousness, whatever that is, whatever your
mhm,
situation is, But that a lot of events can unfold before that actual death happens, that's crazy.
mhm,
And to put yourself in harm's way like that, rather than be obedient to the Most High, because we know that He told us, we know before when we were in our Egyptian captivity, even though He didn't put us in that captivity, but we found ourselves in it. We preferred, the comforts of Egypt, just like today. We're very comfortable here, and
mhm,
we don't want to give this up. That's not what we want.
mhm,
But
mhm. Well,
you know,
with that, I just want to say that when I think you hit that Jeremiah 51 also.
uh huh,
Yeah, 51 or 50 and one,
uh
and
huh,
and it talks about the whole Exodus from Babylon. But we know when we read that, that's talking about that the Babylon at that time, but it's
mhm,
also giving you a formula for the Babylon now, because
right,
This where we are, it's the same spirit. And
right,
when you read about the Babylon of that time, you see that
mhm,
the Babylon that we're in now has some of the same facets going on, where you have the different nations,
absolutely,
conglomerate of nations, you have the worshiping of many deities, and you
absolutely,
see how the earth is drunken from the
yes,
of Babylon, and all the nations are drunken from their cup, and that's what's happening.
yeah,
When we look at the nations around us, even certain nations like Saudi Arabia, who you think would be totally contrary from this Western world, is actually drinking from the cup and finding themselves being influenced by the way of America, which is modern day Babylon. But we see within that
yeah,
Jeremiah that there are certain things that the Almighty gives as signs to know when Babylon is actually falling. And one
right,
of the things that stood out to me was when you read about the fanners. And if you look up that word fanners, it's just talking about wind, and it's talking about whirlwinds, and it's talking
right,
about these hurricanes that you see. And there's no coincidence that at this time, when you see that there's a 400-year, you know, coming up upon us, or however people would say it, that these things are happening, and that you
Right.
see Babylon in the time where, you know, economically it's finding itself falling. I mean, the whole Western powers are finding themselves falling. I mean, look at the situation
Yeah.
with Brexit. Look at the
Yeah.
situation with Greece. You know, look
Yeah.
at the situation, you know, where Russia is finding itself gaining more power, annexing,
Right.
you know, countries that, you know, of course, were a part of, or were they were looking to make a part of the Western power. You know,
Right.
we can see how the power of Babylon is falling also, because you can see how it's strategically, you know, position itself with other allies. You see,
Right.
when you see that shift like that, and you look up at Jeremiah 51, we can actually see, you know, that of course Babylon and its strength and its pomp is actually
Mhm.
falling, and it's becoming weaker and weaker and weaker. But at the same time that you see all of these economic pieces, the Almighty say that He gonna put fires within the city. You know,
Right.
that's showing that
Right.
Jeremiah. And we've seen at
Right.
this time some of the greatest brush fires, whatever they want to call it, and they're not just in the wilderness. They're not just
Right.
out in the out. They're actually coming into the cities of Los Angeles, to the point where they got to shut down highways. And this is of course what Yah was speaking of when you read Jeremiah 51 and 50. So
Right.
I understand totally, you know, why you would bring those scriptures out. And I just wanted to make sure I compliment you on that. And you
Thank
know, thank you.
you.
I'm gonna listen to the rest of it. But I'll be in contact with Rita, and I definitely keep you in mind, and look for the next time that you come on, so that I
Okay.
can get some of that information from you about
Okay.
actually
I
being
gave a
able to
lot of
track.
scriptures this time. I tried not to redo the ones from last time, but I just wanted to answer those questions from last time that was left on the table, and I'll give more if I need to,
Yes,
if
ma'am.
need be, because I left a lot out too.
Yes, ma'am.
Because there's just it's so many, it's overwhelming.
It sure is.
Yeah, but thank you very much.
No, thank you, sister. Thank you. Praises be to Yah.
All praises be to Yah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Uh, so if we all good right here, um, you could give them a conference number or something like that, and what we're trying to do is have a daily group session on trying to figure out what it is that we gonna do and go from there. If not, then we could just close this out and give praise to y'all and thank him for bringing us together. So I appreciate you coming on the platform and giving the word of Yah and giving
Okay.
closure to our brothers and sisters to understanding the word. So I look for you again, my sister, and I really appreciate you coming up on this platform. And to all the brothers out there and the sisters watching, I'm gonna say to y'all, I say shalom.
Shalom.
Oh, shalom. Thank